British safety standards, so we had to change our wiring. Now, this time, we've just gone through CE again because there's been an upgrade. There's a new clause, and you want to ask me what clause it is. And the clause is clause 15, which is about moisture resistance. And it's a really interesting one. And I was absolutely panicking because we never had this the first time. And what they do is they got the NEOS and they put it in a tank with a lid on, say on the Friday. And then over the weekend is then they put humidity into it. So it's all humidity's going into the tank to see if the humidity or the moisture gets into the electric. Now, I know there's a lot of radiators out there that are being sold currently that we're taking off people's walls that would never, ever pass that at all. And I was absolutely a little bit frightened, to be fair. And I was thinking, oh, gosh, you know, because we didn't have to go through this in 2018. Anyway, we came out, they took it out, put it on the wall, and it worked. No moisture in there. And we passed everything, creepage and clearance and all the other things. We have to just pay a fortune for it. But we get this done at Intertech, which is based in Milton Keynes. And they're fantastic because they actually, which is great, when I went round their factory the other day, they've got like TVs in there, washing machines, all sorts of things they test for which is brilliant.
That's good. That's really, really good. And I believe that the CE testing to conform with the European standard can only be, for safety reasons, again, can only be 5% over what you actually sell the radiator at, or 10% under. So, for example, if you were selling a 1 kilowatt, it could only be 1,050 over maximum, and then 900 is its lowest part as well, just to keep within that bracket.
Yeah, and if you don't do that, they test all your radiators, and if you do not keep to that legality kind of thing for CE conformity, that basically you fail the test. But we test everything that is made, everything is tested to make sure it's there, and everything is logged, which is fantastic. But I know that we took, because I work with the installers as well, we took a radiator, it was a 1.4 off the walls the other day, and it was not over where it should have been. It was probably coming in about 1.6, which actually it's been badged up wrong. So
yeah,
that was that would have failed, really, to be fair. So I do think, and it's funny, I've just done a little bit of, if you're interested again, I've done a little bit of research on our customers, and safety comes down at number 10 for them.
Really?
Yeah, number 10. Where actually you'd think, because they believe that if they're buying something electric, that it will be safe because we're selling it. They don't really understand. So everything I would always ask, which I was just saying to the engineers earlier, I would always ask anybody to see the certificate of independent testing, which we carry that independent certificate with us.
That's really interesting, because I think that must be because people have been so used to gas and seeing all the gas problems, explosions and everything that can happen from that. And that's been all over the news. So it's been widely publicised. So people now with gas go safe. And you'd never dream of getting a new combi boiler fitted or anything fitted in the house that was gas if you didn't have a qualified person to come and do it, or it'd been tested to a high standard. So I suppose that education process is very slowly gathering momentum in UK with electricity. So you'd never dream of getting a new consumer unit if it wasn't a fully qualified electrician. You won't get Bob down the road that knows he can do it. So,
but people think when they're buying something, if it has like a CE mark on it, that it is safe.
Yeah.
They automatically think it, but people can self-certify. So, you know, it's incorrect, really. So, yeah, it's been quite an exciting morning, really. So, yeah.
I know now we're moving into the realms of BIAB, which is another accreditation that you can only get access to if you're independently tested on CE. And BIAB is like a higher level. It involves annual inspections of how we build. It also moves us into the realms of everything that leaves the building. It has to have an earth leakage test. It has to have a power leakage test. And it has a high pot test on it as well. So and that's 100% test on everything that comes out. So yeah, we are moving more and more into that way where people are getting educated towards things really do need to be electrically safe and sound, and not just, I've read the book mentality.
No, it has to be. I think if you're independently tested, they're going to be really rough with your product, and they are really rough with the product. They bash it about unbelievably, when it comes back and it tests for it. you know, and it tests up to that particular level, which is great. And also, you want to get it right, don't you? You want to get it right for your customers to make sure what's going out there is completely safe. Yeah,
you do. Yeah, you do. Right, we'll have a bit of a switchy break from there, and I believe we've got some questions that have been sent in by the public that we'll try our best to answer.
Oh, I've never been on question time.
Well, this is the electrification question time. This one is.
Oh gosh.
So we've got a lovely marketing department just behind camera. You can't see them. This is the working office behind us, by the way, and Leonie's heading that up. And Leonie, have you got any questions?
So we've got a question from Marius, who asked, can I install the radiators by myself? In brackets, he's put, I'm not an electrician.
Yeah, I'll take that one. Yes, you can fit them yourself. They've been designed so that you need a minimal amount of equipment to actually put them onto the wall, and a minimum amount of skill as well. You don't have to be a qualified electrician to put them in place. You can obviously get somebody if you wish to, but you don't need them. They're all prepped and sealed and made safe before they go out. So all you're actually doing is attaching it to the wall. So yes, you can install them yourself if you so wish.
I think as well, if we've got Marius's email address, we can send you Olivia, who looks after our marketing, to send you the demo video, her with the drill and the screws and everything, and how easy it is. Because to be fair, how you have sort of like designed the NEOS, the brackets actually pencil it all out, because I'm really bad at doing lines, but it does everything for you. So it's the most simplest thought out install you possibly could have.
Yeah, thank you, Mario.
So David has asked for advice if solar panels and electric heating are worth doing together.
Yes, they are. Anything you can get that you can marry together. We have a solution called the Zebra solution that we're currently presenting to the marketplace, where we've got almost like a whole eco type, I don't know, product, I suppose, that's going to be out there that would involve solar panels, working with battery storage, working with really efficient water systems, again, working with electric heating. So yeah, the more of them you can marry up together, the better off it is for you in your pocket. You can get off grid fairly quickly, depending on what you're buying and you put in place. But yeah, it's all of those things work really well together.
I think it also becomes to affordability, doesn't it? So you can do it. You can do it separately, David, and that's up to you. You can do it separately, but I think it's also make sure that who you're working with understand how they can marry them together, because we found that people have had solar, battery, and heating, and they're not connecting. So there is no point having those three things if you can't connect it. So make sure that the installer understands how they marry up together, because that is where you get the savings.
Yeah, fantastic.
Samantha has asked, how long do our surveys take?
That's interesting, because we always put in the diary 1.5 hours, because I think that's really, really important. But then that also depends on you as a customer, because some people want lots of information, where some people don't want a lot of information. So we always put that in because of drive times for the advisors. And what they do, so they would come to your house, and basically we would show you a demo of the radiator. We'd go through how it works. We break it down. We show you the soapstone that's inside. We show you it working. Then we would go through your house with you. We'd measure each room. We decide what thermostats you want. How do you want to control them? So I suppose it depends on your answers. But if you're wanting somebody to come in 10 and 15 minutes, then I will honestly say we're not the company for you, because I want to make sure we do a great job. And to do that, we need a bit more time with you. But one of the things we don't do is we will not overstay our welcome. That's definitely something that we don't do.
Yeah, and it's also an idea as well to get another, if you're older, to get another family member there to sit down, because there is a lot to learn, a lot to comes over. But they do it very well. They present it very well, don't they? Yeah, they do a good job. Any further questions?
So we've had a question in the chat from David. And David said that he's having to convert from gas to electric. Can the existing gas rads be used and heated on the same circuit as the hot water?
Can the existing what happens when we come up against wet systems or like gas systems that are in place, the whole system generally comes out. So we will get somebody to remove all the wet radiators so they're gone, and then we'll install a dry system, which is our electric system. But
if you're going with us, the answer would be, the simple answer is no, because we you know, how we are built is very, very different to a wet system.
and we're a replacement product.
Yeah, and we've got a stone inside. It's very, very different, but it's a very easy system. I just had this question earlier on in training that also we have to consider, and I think this is why it's really good for an advisor to go, David, because we've got to consider as well, can your house take that ampage? So even though I'm in electric, my house will not take the whole of that ampage currently unless I have 3-phase pulled in. But I have got a hybrid house. So I have got electric in some of the rooms, like my office at home. When I'm working at home, I only warm one room up. I also have it in my two in my conservatory, and I also have one in my daughter's room because she leaves the window open all the time. So no, we wouldn't use your existing ones, but how we take the gas out is great. You know, we just cap it, then we put our radiators on the wall, and if you ever want to go back to gas, you can. You know, it's not like, I think you always say, Scott, it's not like getting rid of a friend you've had for years.
Yeah.
You know, just replace a couple at a time, and we call that the hybrid approach.
Yeah, hybrid solutions are very good. They allow me to have a sample, not dive in with, you know, feet first, as it were. It works really well. Anything else over there?
So Martin wants to know, how does he know if he should change his tariff or not?
Is he on electric? Is Martin on electric panel heaters? Do we know?
No, I guess he would be. But the tariff that you choose has to fit your lifestyle.
Yeah.
So there is tariffs out there that have got, like the Octopus Cozy we always mention, that has got 3 hours or 50% reduced electricity in the morning, the same in the afternoon, and then 2 hours on a night time. Now, if that fits your lifestyle, going to work, and you're not using electricity during the day, not in because you're at work, then that's a great tariff. The Economy 7 one is one as well. If you like the Economy 7, where you charge from 12 until 7 in the morning on not a half price rate, but a slightly cheaper rate, and then it discharges heat all day. Again, if that suits your lifestyle because you're at home and you need to get warm all day, great.
I think it's really about you as an individual, because not every tariff is right for everybody. And I remember when the energy crisis happened, and it was about 2 years ago, and I run a local village hall as well in my spare time, and it was a bit carnage because everyone was saying you need to change now, and there was a lot of bad press behind it. So they rushed very quickly and changed the tariff, and now we're stuck in a tariff and a really long contract that actually the energy prices have come down, and now we're paying over the odds for our electricity. So it's absolutely having that education and understanding and doing your research. But I do think there is companies like us and other companies that would sit and talk you through. We're not tariff experts, but we are experts in heat and are great at talking you through, actually, have you thought about this? What does this look like for you? And actually, so you can make the right decision, what's right for your lifestyle.
True.
So David in the chat has another question.
Oh, I like David.
A lot of David's thing.
He's asked if the thermostat for the rads should be in the room rather than on each rad.
The thermostat is on each radiator because it measures the temperature of the airflow back into the base of the radiator. So if you set your temperature for the room at, say, 21 degrees, when the air that is circulated at the bottom of the room and going back into the radiator is at 21 degrees, that's when it will turn off, because then you know from floor to ceiling, you've got an even distribution of heat, which is the comfort area. If you have it slightly higher up, you can find that your thermostat will turn off the radiator before your whole of your room has got up to temperature. We call it stratification, we break stratification, but the right place for us, for our radiators, is at the base of the radiator, a small thermistor that sticks out about 1 inch, and it monitors that airflow coming back in.
I think also though as well, we don't just have the thermostat that's on the side of the radiator.
No.
We have the protostat that's built into the radiator, which Scott talked about, the thermistor at the bottom, which measures floor temperature. Because a lot of people we go and see have got, we call it cold feet, and they find that when the thermostat's higher up or in another room, it turns off when the heat reaches, say if it's in the hallway or somewhere like that, and the feet could be freezing or red hot because it's still working. So we offer 3 different types of how you operate your heat. And the great thing is with the Neos, because it's modular, you can use any thermostat on it as well. You don't have to just pick one of ours. And you can use anything off the shelf. If you think, oh, I really want to use this, it's fine. We've got a dumb panel. We can put anything in. So we've offered the protostat, which we know is very accurate. And we would program each room separately. Because you've got north, south face housing, east, west, etc. So the heat comes in at different times. And we also have some other products where we could bundle a couple of heaters together. So in our boardroom, we've got 2 heaters that are bundled together on one thermostat. And then we've also got people who want to control things on an app. And that's done very differently as well. So I think it's about what solution you want for your lifestyle. Everything we do is about how people live. If you're in the house all day, you know, we would work through that with your thermostats. If you're out all day and you want to control it before you come home, you might be better with an app. But it depends on you as an individual, to be fair.
Very much so, very much so. Any more Davids?
No more Davids. We do have an Amy. So Amy's asked, what does EPC stand for?
EPC is a standard that's been set in place by government, and it's there to ensure that
the energy performance.
Yeah, the energy performance certificate, but it's there to ensure that there is a certain standard of heat and insulation in that room. So that's what they're put in place for. So if you're buying houses, you know you're going to buy a house to a decent standard because it's got to be an EPCC or a B or an A, depending on where you live in the country. So
I think the main thing is as well is because we're looking at quite a lot of modelling at the moment on homes, and it's really interesting because there's so much you have to do to get your EPC up. Some people's EPCs are really low, so they might only have to do one measure to get there. But to get to like a C or higher than that, your measures are quite strict. And one of the best measures you can do for your house anyway, even without an EPC, and everyone should be doing this, is insulation. Because that's even just doing your loft, for instance, outside, external insulation, excuse me, because what is the point of putting a great heating system in and having, you know, double glazing, but your insulation in your walls or your loft, and it's just everything's leaking out. So I would always say when you're looking at the energy performance of a home, which we're all anxious to look at the moment, is it's about costing less on your heating bills, on all your bills, but make sure your house is well insulated, which is what we're doing with new home builds now anyway.
Yeah, even simple things like draft excluders that we mentioned this was before, putting draft excluders at the bottom of your door when you're in your living room on a night time watching telly can keep the heat in and it protects it. So all little measures, or internal secondary glazing, you can buy that reasonably cheap these days. You can just put up during the winter and take down and store for the summer. So little things like this that can help without having a big spend put in place.
You know, it's quite funny you say that because I remember my grandma, right? I know this isn't one of the questions, but she was so good at energy. She would say, oh, you know, put the wood in the hole and all that kind of thing. But everywhere had draft excluders on, and over the front door, because it had like glazing at the side. Yeah. In the winter, she had like this curtain that was in the summer, and then in the winter, I think, what's that curtain? She used to pull it over on an ice, and nothing could get out of the glass.
Because the glass panels were cold, weren't they? And you'd stand in that type of house typically, and they were freezing in the hallways.
Yeah,
so
and I think on an evening as well, when you're shutting your curtains or shutting your blinds or something. I mean, even just having a room with curtains that's got lining in, you know, even extra things like that are a really big thing. So there's a lot that you can do as well. Yeah,
there is. Non-expensive, not very expensive anyway. But we can advise on that. Again, you need to get an engineer to come around and see, and they'll sit and help you as best they can on simple bits of advice like that. In fact, actually, we should put some sort of like little prompt card out for people, couldn't we? How they can do things like that. Because in the summer time is a really good time to start preparing for the winter, so they can you know, a little.
And that's what's good about the Neos, really, because you don't have to put foil behind the radiator, because the way it's designed at the back, it only loses a small amount of heat into the back wall. If I could sew, I'd run some truss ones up on my sewing machine, but I can't, unfortunately. Some little draft excluders, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. Any more?
So Jamie's asked, how does he get a brochure sent out to him?
Oh, Jamie, have you contacted us? If you give Leonie, who's in our marketing today, if you put in the chat your email address or send that through to us, or you can go onto our website and download a guide. So www.trustelectricheating.co.uk. You can go on there and you can download a heating guide then, or you can ring us up and give us your address as well, and we can send you a hard copy as well. So yeah, quite accessible really to get a guide.
Any more, Leonie? Any more for any more?
We had one through from Kevin, but it's I think it's quite a difficult one. But do you want it anyway?
Oh gosh.
Yeah. If we don't know, we don't know. But if we do, we'll.
So Kevin's asked if he was to update his storage heaters and his rented out property, can he claim some cost relief through tax return?
I don't know that one. I'm perfectly honest.
I don't know which tax return. I don't know which tax return you mean. I don't know what's available at the moment with storage heaters, because we don't deal with storage heaters.
And it depends where they are in the country as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, I know that, say, Scotland and Wales have got some really good incentives on, grant incentives, but I think there might be some grants available depending on where you are in the country, to update from an old traditional storage heater to maybe one of the new heaters, one of the new storage heaters. I don't really know about that tax relief. The only tax reliefs I understand is research and development tax relief, because you know we're an R&D company as well.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I can answer. Sorry, Kevin. I hope we helped you there a little bit.
Sue's asked, what's a really common misunderstanding people have about electric heating?
Probably that it's very expensive to run, and it is more expensive per unit than gas. But you don't run an electric system the way that you would a gas system. You have to be smart with it and move it around. So that's the misconception. Well, it's not a misconception. It's true. If you try and use it the same as gas, it will cost you more money. But if you use it in a smart way with smart thermostats, it will. It can be very effective, very cost effective. Okay. And I think we're nearing the end for soon, aren't we?
So Jill says that she lives in a poorly insulated property. Should she focus on getting her heating system upgraded or improving her insulation first?
Oh, Jill, are you cold? So if you're cold first, I'd want to be warm, because I hate being cold. But it's understanding that if it's poorly insulated, that you're going to lose a lot of heat. So I think it's a bit of a balance, really, isn't it? So I would say you're coming into the summer months now, so I'd concentrate on insulation, because insulation is probably a prime thing for everybody, because we've got a lot of leaky houses in the UK. What I mean by that is we leak energy. But just putting insulation in will keep the heat in. But if your heating system is poor, then you're going to be a little bit hotter, but not fully hotter. So I suppose it's a balance. You can put your heating in and do some of the things that we've said, but I would personally say myself, insulation would be my first thing.
Yeah, it all depends on how leaky the property is. If it's very leaky, putting another heating system in there isn't going to achieve that much. But if it's not that bad, putting another heating system in there would get you warm while you're doing your installation. So again, it's not just a stop cancer. What we could do, we could give you some advice and look at the property for you. That would be an easy thing for us.
Yeah, we have an EPC assessor here. So
yeah, so. Oh, and we've come to the end. We've got more questions, but we've come to the end of this part. But we have got a promotion put in place, which is the April sale.
The reason we have this, right, is we don't really do sales, discounts or anything else like that, because we don't believe in it. And it's a big issue for me, this, because during COVID, when we were in lockdown, I remember before lockdown, it was like dog eats dog. And what I mean by that is, I would say most consumers will see, 85% of you will see probably about 3 companies, and everyone will have their own sales story, and everyone will talk about how good the product is, you know, etc., etc. And then you're in a minefield of making that decision. And a lot of the decisions before 2020 were all made on price. And I decided during my time in lockdown, I did a lot of work on the business, to be fair, and thought, I don't want to get into this battle, this dogfight kind of thing with people, like, oh, you knock me £100 off, or can I have £200 off? And then people knock money off, and then you think, oh, how much is the product really? Because you're buying straight from the manufacturer, you're buying straight from the people that make it. We're not a reseller. You're not buying from a reseller who's bought something from Germany and then it comes in and it comes all the way down, and what's the margin and everything. Just buy direct from us. So I want to be transparent for a reason. But the reason we always do something in April is because we're really proud about April, because April is our birthday. And, you know, we started this company in 2014 round a dining table, which was really interesting. There were 3 of us. And, you know, there's 55 of us at Trust now and growing. You know, there's another 3 advisors in the boardroom at the moment that I'm training today. And I'm really precious about training as well. So, you know, I like to do that myself because that's how we grew the business.
Yeah, true.
And because it's our birthday, we always in April do a birthday offer. And our marketing, I'm really proud actually, our marketing department are fantastic. We do all sorts of interesting things. We're quite quirky. I want us to be a company with a personality. I don't want us to be just, we're pushing radiators, because you've got a relationship with us for 25 years if you buy our product. And that relationship to me and the people that work here is really, really important. So we are doing deal
or deal.
Ordeal. Yeah, I nearly did a no. I nearly did. I nearly did. And we have had these beautiful little boxes printed by my friend, who's a 3D printer. They're absolutely fantastic. I mean, they're beautiful, but even if you just want to come and see the boxes, they're really cute. And in there we have discounts of, I think it's 10%, 15%, and 20%. So you would pick a deal, and then you could go for another deal. But once you've got a deal, you have to decide if you're going to gamble for another deal. And that's the way it works. So our advisors at the moment are right the way from the top of Scotland all the way down to the tip of Cornwall. We cover everywhere. The length and breadth of the country are out there at the moment doing deal or deal. And also you can access that if you want to know a little bit more about it. You can ring 0800 599 109. That's 0800 599 109 and speak to one of our chief chatterers who are outside here now, who are great, and they can go through that with you. So and all I will say is just say happy birthday to us, because, you know, we believe we're going to give the celebration to everybody, not just here at Trust.
Very, very, very good. Well, we'll sign off now, if we can, marketing. And again, our lovely CEO, Fiona, came in, and I'll try and get her back in again in a week or 2, or a couple of weeks or 2. We'll try and discuss another topic. But yeah, from us too, thank you very much.
Bye.